I've used Pavise's Daily Age Defense on and off for almost a year now. When I started this channel last summer, it was one of the first videos that I made for a few reasons. Number one, my patients ask me for mineral sunscreen recommendations all the time, so I'm always trying to find good ones. This is a mineral sunscreen that's actually a mineral sunscreen that's not doped with ingredients that are similar to chemical UV filters. And finally, the price tag. It's $148 for 30 mLs, and that really caught my attention. But first, a point to clarify. Apparently, this is not supposed to be called just a sunscreen. It's an anti-aging product and a moisturizer too, which I think is said to justify the high price tag. I would argue that pretty much all modern sunscreens are anti-aging ingredients, so I'm going to keep calling this a sunscreen to keep things short. Also, is it bad to be just a sunscreen? Sunscreens protect your skin against premature skin aging and, more importantly, protect against skin cancer. That sounds really impressive to me. Key points to know about this product. For their UV filter, Pavise uses a patent-protected form of zinc oxide, which they trademarked as Diamondcore. I think it's really cool. Pavise's website doesn't really have much information on it, just generalities like how it's patented, better than the zinc oxide the other guys are using, and has a fancy name with diamond in it. Diamondcore. I had to find the patent application to learn more, but their version of zinc oxide is really cool. I wish that weirdos like me didn't have to dig into the patent application to learn more about it. So that you don't have to be a weirdo too, this is what I learned. Their Diamond Core filter is a two-part system which has a core and a shell. The shell is the UV filter. In Daily Age Defense, it's zinc oxide, but their patent also covers titanium dioxide. Component B is a carbon core that scavenges reactive oxygen species and other types of free radicals. Its structure kind of reminds me of one of my favorite candies, Nerd Gummy Clusters. I did laugh a little bit at this line in their patent application. In some aspects, the structure advantageously provides practically non-expensive methods of manufacturing and applying UV protectant active ingredients to human skin. It may be a non-expensive method of manufacturing UV protectant active ingredients, but it's definitely not a non-expensive method of applying UV protectant at $148 per ounce. Like I mentioned, it's advertised as an all-in-one daytime product, not only a sunscreen, but also a moisturizer and anti-aging treatment because of the ability to address free radicals thanks to the carbon or nanodiamond core. This figure in their patent application compares free radical generation in plated cells that have regular zinc oxide in them versus Pavise's zinc oxide added to them. They are measuring free radical generation by adding a chemical that becomes fluorescent when it reacts with those free radicals. Those plated cells are then placed in a fluorescence plate reader, which measures the light that's coming from the specimens. Put very simply, more fluorescence, or the higher we go on this graph, means there were more free radicals in the cell plate. As we monitor this over time, which is the x-axis going from 30 minutes to 6 hours at the far end, we see that the plates with the regular zinc oxide suspension have more free radicals than the solid line, which represents Pavise's zinc oxide. So we are seeing an in vitro or lab demonstration of their diamond core zinc oxide, reducing the free radicals that are generated by living cells. What I can't tell is whether this carbon or nanodiamond core is better at scavenging free radicals than less expensive antioxidants like vitamin C or glutathione. If it is, maybe some people will find it worth the higher price tag. Moving on, this product definitely has that flap or what I call feel like a princess factor. The packaging feels super premium, which you would hope would be the case for a product that costs $148 per ounce, but some expensive skincare products still feel and look kind of dinky to me. Not naming names, but there's a brand that plays spooky music to algae that's used in their products that somehow still manages to feel cheap to me. I appreciate that the product is refillable, but I also wish there was more of a discount on the refills. They are still super pricey at $128 per ounce. That's just a $20 cost savings. My experience with the sunscreen, ignoring the cost for a moment, I like how it's pretty moisturizing for a mineral sunscreen. Overall, the finish is pretty nice for a mineral sunscreen as well, but I think the finish on Isden's Airy Photona Actinica sunscreen is just as nice. This is really individual, but this product did cause some eye irritation for me, and I didn't see a white cast on my skin, but I saw a Reddit post where someone mentions that it left a visible white cast on their skin tone. So, who do I think that this would be a good fit for? People with normal or combination skin who want an all-in-one moisturizer slash mineral sunscreen combination, but I don't think it works as a standalone moisturizer for people with very dry skin. People with very sensitive skin who are having trouble finding a sunscreen that their skin tolerates will probably have good luck with this one. People who already buy and prefer premium beauty products, stuff from Skin Medica, Augustinus Bader, La Mer's, and SkinCeuticals. My take. It's not you, it's me. It takes a lot for me to think that a skincare product with this price tag is worth it, but there are a lot of people out there who don't mind spending this kind of money on a sunscreen. I get it. Stop calling it a sunscreen. It's a three-in-one. Anti-aging, moisturizer, sunscreen. But I could buy all those things for less than $100 and get a lot more of each. I appreciate that they did do something new here and that their zinc oxide isn't the zinc oxide that anyone else is using in their formulations, but when I break it down, as a moisturizer, there are plenty of inexpensive options out there that I think work great. As a sunscreen, there are other options that provide SPF 30 and PA4 plus protection or higher SPF and similar SPF ratings, especially chemical sunscreens. I worry that with this price tag that people will underapply and not even get SPF 30 worth of protection, which in my book is kind of the bare minimum. For premature aging prevention, their specific zinc oxide is physically coupled with a carbon core that scavenges free radicals. Again, really cool. But I want to see that this system is superior to other antioxidants that are available at lower price points. I am not a mineral sunscreen purist, and I get great UVA and UVB protection from the chemical sunscreens that I use. I also don't mind using more than one product, so its all-in-oneness isn't a huge selling point for me. Many of their actives, like tranexamic acid, licorice root extract, niacinamide, these can be found in pretty inexpensive skincare products. One of their antioxidants, silymarin, comes from milk thistle, and that's not as common, but I would think that milk thistle is pretty cheap. SkinCeuticals also makes a silymarin product too, but that's also pretty pricey. I'm just not convinced yet that their novel zinc oxide filter and silymarin are enough to justify the cost for me at least with the information that I've seen so far, and I think I've done a lot more digging than the average person. I'm open to being convinced, but don't send me marketing materials, please. Show me the data. Prices are really personal. Whether it's worth it to you or not really depends on how you spend normally. I think I'd pay up to 60 bucks for it, but it's hard for me to justify and recommend it at its current price, especially just for an ounce. For perspective, though, I am a medical dermatologist and my patients are people who prioritize skin cancer prevention. And yes, a lot of them would love to wake up and have fewer spots, but $148 for 30 mLs in this economy? I think that would be really tough for me to even bring up in conversation with my patients without seeming a little bit out of touch. That is a day's worth of work for a lot of people. But if I were a cosmetic dermatologist in Vegas and my patients want flap recommendations, then yeah, they would probably love this sunscreen. There's definitely a market for it. I hope that they're able to use their zinc oxide filter in a less expensive product down the line. I'm not sure how they would be able to do this without undercutting sales on this product, but I would personally be really excited if they offered a product with this filter at a lower price point. It can be just a sunscreen without the all-in-oneness, the fancy packaging, bells and whistles. I would just be so much more excited about recommending a product like that. Thanks for watching. I started this channel because I wanted a new hobby, and I'm honestly really surprised that anyone watches my videos or subscribes to my channel at all. I'm really appreciative to people like Andre Grindon and C Change NYC 280 and many others for your kindness and thoughtful comments for this random nobody dermatologist on the internet. Thank you.